It is not the critic who counts, nor the man who points out where the great man stumbled, or where the doer of deed should have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is always in the arena, whose face is marred with sweat, dust, and blood. He knows the secret of high achievement. His place can never be like those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. These are the words of Theodore Roosevelt, a one-time American president. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nigeria Watch, where we bring you people, politics, economy, and governance. New Nigeria People's Party is making headway ahead of the presidential campaigns in the general elections of 2023. We shall be talking with the New Nigeria People's Party and National Publicity Secretary, talking about Dr. Agbo, a Major. And of course, it's already here in the building with me. Thank you for being part of the program tonight.
Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure to have you, Dr.
Yes.
Where is your party in between all of these strongholds?
First, it's important that I let you know and I let viewers know that we are not struggling to keep pace with any political party. Rather, we are on top and we are consolidating. That I can tell you. As far as we are concerned, we are not bothered. The fact that the PDP and the APC have been in control of government at one point or the other is never a problem to us. The mood of Nigerians, points to the fact that what they want is a new Nigeria, and which is what we stand for, and which is what our presidential candidate, His Excellency Senator Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, stands for. So we're not struggling against any other party. As far as we are concerned, we remain the party to beat. The PDP and the APC will be dusted, I can assure you.
Well, this is a Bright Television. We're transmitting on TSTV decoder. And of course, you're keeping an eye on the nation flagship political program, the Nigeria Watch. Tonight on the show, ahead of the 2023 general elections, so much a peep into the political parties. What are their strengths, their flag bearer? What is it Nigerians want? What are the new political parties bringing to the table? How are they matching head to head? Is there any competition? And how do we fly the flag of each of these political parties? These are issues we shall be taking a look at on the program moving forward, henceforth to the February 25th presidential elections and beyond. Tonight, we have the National Publicity Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party, Dr. Agbo, a Major. Remember, you can also watch this program live on our Facebook channel at the Nigeria Watch. Good evening and welcome to the show, Dr. Agbo, Major.
Thank you so much.
Let's get started. I'll give you an opportunity to tell us the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. What is new about the New Nigeria People's Party?
Oh, that's a very beautiful poser. What is new is that the party represents a new beginning for the country. Remember that our democracy, we've had since 1999, uninterrupted democracy. And we've had a situation where two political parties have been firmly in control, the PDP for 16 years, and then lately the APC for about 7.5 years now. And as it stands now, by all indices, there are indications that nothing has really changed. The situation around the ordinary people is still the same, the way it has always been. The economy continues, to suffer a lot of difficulties, and then our infrastructures continue to decay with every passing day, every passing minute, meaning that what should be expected from the government, is not what we're really getting. And so we are thinking that bringing a new thing to the table, yes, an infrastructural revolution, giving a new lease of life to Nigerians, giving them light, giving them water, giving them food through agricultural revolution, introducing novelties into agricultural practices such as bringing back dry season farming, Of course, you can see with what has happened in the past 2 months, excessive flooding everywhere, farmlands, produce being washed away and all of that. These are indicators that Nigeria should be bracing up for acute hunger ahead. And we are saying what happened to our dry season famine. We have a presidential candidate who, by the way, is a water engineer, and who knows the importance and what water could be used for. And so one of the things we'll be looking at in our attempt to ensure that every average Nigerian is happy in terms of food is to ensure that we shift focus, from rainy season farming and shift some emphasis also into dry season farming, so that the incidences of flood and others, which has, as we all can see now, has hampered and is likely to put us in a very difficult situation going through this year and next year, would be things of the past. Then look at the issue of security. Like we always have said, security is about the people. We'll be asking the people to take responsibility by securing themselves. Of course, no matter how sharp the security agencies are, if there is no cooperation from the ordinary citizens, you don't expect them to be able to perform maximally. Look at our educational system. What are the challenges? Why are these lecturers, constantly on strike? Why are they always abandoning their duty posts and all of that? What are those issues, that has continued to agitate their minds? We'll be looking at them. These are some of the things we want to do, Look at this government, for instance. They promised us light, which ordinarily is supposed to jumpstart small-scale economic activities, People would be able to find places where they can sit to do ordinary barbing, and all of that. But it's elusive, despite the huge resources that has been channeled into that sector. Of course, you and I know that we're not getting the result that is commensurate to the volume of funds that has gone in there. So, first of all, we will want to ensure that Nigerians, their hopes are raised again. They are able to grapple with the reality that they have a country and a leadership that cares about their welfare. So these are the new things that we're bringing to the table. And although these are traditional issues that every party campaigns about, these are traditional issues that have formed the crux of campaigns by political parties in the past. But what is been missing is the approach. They come every day to say, we are aware that we are challenged security-wise, but you discover that it's the same path that others have traveled, past governments have traveled on, which has continued to generate results that are the same. These are the things they are preaching to Nigerians. But for us, we want to do things differently. The issues that bother us as a country are still the same issues. But what we want to do is to begin to approach or attempt to tackle them using different strategies and all of that. And these are strategies that are not meant for consumption until maybe when we begin to engage the people, we will now begin to tell them, our strategies towards ensuring that these obvious problems are surmounted in no time at all. So these are the things we are looking at, in addition to so many other challenges, which I'm sure in the course of this discussion we'll be able to bring out and, trash.
Okay, just before I proceed, let me also remind you that your presidential candidate was a former governor, former senator. Yeah. Can we have what might look like his report card in the past from most of the things you've talked about, the traditional issues of security, of housing, of water management, resources, and all of these things that we can look back to and say, oh, this man did very well as a governor, as a senator, and so he qualifies to go the extra mile in some other responsibilities?
Well, his antecedents are there. Infrastructure-wise, of course, Kano experienced massive infrastructural revolution when he was governor for 8 years. The flyovers are there. The schools are there, completely revamped. Teachers are happy. Then there is massive dry season farming activities going on there. They established a lot of dams, which encourage farmers to go into dry season farming. Of course, you know that Kano feeds, a very large percentage of Nigerians in terms of food production. And this is largely true dry season farming activities. So just about 5 days ago or thereabout, we're in Kano, where he commissioned a leadership training institute. He has invested very heavily on human capital development. And that is what every government owes its citizens. You could do anything in terms of infrastructure, you could do anything in terms of security, you could do anything, to get the educational system working again. But once the human mind remains undeveloped, you cannot get anything out of all of this. So the first thing is to ensure that the people are up thinking well through, human development and all of that. And then all of that things will now come in to, get the system working. So looking at it very carefully, the famous Kwankwasia movement that you all are familiar with, that has sent a lot of Nigerians, some that never thought they would have the opportunity of going through the four walls of our educational institutions. He didn't just limit it to Nigeria alone. He also sent a lot of indigenes, to outside the country to go and study. Some returned as pharmacists, some returned as medical doctors, some returned as nurses. In fact, just about a month ago, he flew in an aircraft from Birnin Kebbi to Abuja. He didn't know that the two pilots were those who benefited from his scholarship scheme. The implication is that across all walks of life, he has touched the lives of Nigerians. And the greatest legacy you can bequeath as a leader, as governor, as senator, as deputy speaker of the House of Reps, and then lately as Minister for Defense, is to channel your energy towards ensuring that the people are able to rediscover themselves, reinvent themselves, and then they are able to move on as citizens that are useful to themselves and then the society. So these are, clear indices of his achievements so far, but I think the major thing is that he has been able to develop the human mind, not just in the north, but across the entire federation. And the facts are there. Nigerians to look at.
Most Nigerians are of the belief that your presidential candidate is more of a northern oligarchy formation, and so it also portends the fact that he doesn't have the stronghold in the west or perhaps in the south, and this imagery has been a cause of concern for your political party, because we talk to the people on the street and these have been the concerns. Are you worried about it?
No. First, that was the initial campaign of calumny that was launched against him. What are their reasons for doing that? They see him as the only threat as far as this 2023 general election is concerned, the presidential race. He is the most qualified, and so they continue to dread his candidature. And so the only way to try to undo him is to continue to mount these malicious campaigns against him. They started that way until we now begin to dispel that. We got Nigerians to begin to see what his organizations, the Kwankwasia movement, for instance, lately the TNM, and then the NNPP now.
Okay.
Are we present across the country? Yes. Last week we were in Lagos. About 2 months ago, he was in Alaba International, that ordinarily, you and I know, is supposed to be the enclave of Igbo traders. He was there, when the Hausa community had issues with Lagos State government related to the shops in Alabarago and all of that. He was there. You could see the turnout, massive turnout, a crowd that was unimaginable. Then a few days ago also, he was in Lagos to commission the campaign office of the party, both that of the state governor, the incoming state governor of Lagos State, on our party platform, the presidential campaign office, and then the state party secretariat. And you could see that the aerial view, the pictures that emanated from there should convince you that the man is not a northern politician alone. He was in Akwa Ibom, which incidentally is your state, about 2 months ago. Of course, you know that we have a very strong candidate in Akwa Ibom, the immediate past National Secretary of APC, Senator John Akpan-Dohe, So having been able to attract all these credible candidates across the South to the party, it's an indication that whoever is limiting our potentials and then our strength to the north is just doing that maliciously. What I need to let you know is that we're all over the country, the South-South, the Southwest, and the Southeast. Let me tell you something. Let me give you an example. Okay. In March, I was in the country home of the founder of the party, Dr. Boniface Okechukwu Anebunam. He lives in Oka. We were there, for a meeting. And lo and behold, one of his cousins who sat next to him as we were meeting, we were just discussing, generally, And he said, that he can see that His Excellency Rabi Musa Kwankwaso has joined us. And I proudly said yes, that he has joined us, and it is part of the reasons why we're here in Oka to, try to fine-tune his coming in and all of that. He said, that is a good one. That as he's talking to us now, that a lot of people would come to say the man is only present in the north. But he that was talking to us at that moment, he said he is the coordinator of the Kwankwasia movement in Anambra State. Funny enough, he's related to the founder of the party. The founder of the party never knew that he had a brother who has a personal relationship with His Excellency Rabi Musa Kwankwaso and the Kwankwasia movement. So why, for God's sake, will anybody want to say that our chances are only in the north, when even in the most remote areas across the southern part of the country, we could be felt, our presence is felt there, we are there very largely, and we are thriving. So what we need to do is to continue to appeal to Nigerians that these are just figments of the imagination of those who feel that the man is the only threat that they are faced with as far as the 2023 general election is concerned.
One of the issues would be, you've seen some of the newspaper headlines we raised, the economic issues are talking about the CBN trying to redesign our currencies and all of this, PSN pharmacists, mass exodus of pharmacists, as well as doctors in decrease at the moment. The issue are, what are the concerns, economic concerns, the political concerns of your political party to the fact that the inspiration, what draws the inspiration to wanting to take the mantle of leadership? Are you saying that President Muhammadu Buhari is not done enough?
It's not always in our character to outrightly come to say Mr. A that is seated there hasn't done enough. But our attitude towards it is always that if given opportunity, we will do more. And that I want to look at, make attempts to react to this your question from that premise. Now, let me tell you, we are worried as Nigerians about the future of our country. A situation where people just are not comfortable in their country. Of course, that is the reason why they want to move out in search for greener pastures and all of that. The brain drain is a challenge to us as a country. The best brains are the ones going out, and it's worrisome. The truth is that the economic situation is bad. People go to school in this country, they get trained even up to the peak. At the end of the day, they are not optimally utilized as people who have gone through these trainings, And that's why they prefer to go to where they will be valued. But an NNPP government, under His Excellency Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, would create an enabling environment that will make Nigerians stay in their homes. We have traveled across the world, and we have seen that there is no place like home. I've gone around the world. I've seen the challenges that foreigners face. If you are in another man's country, you are simply in another man's country. But if you are in your country, you are simply in your country. What you could do in your country is not what you would do in another man's country. Now, come to think of it, let us even look at the economic implications, of exporting your expertise to other countries. Look at how skills are taxed in the Western world. You do this work, you get paid, the whole money goes into one form of taxes or the other. But in Nigeria, you can see that people work, they get paid, they go home with their pay to be able to service their needs. So we will continue to educate Nigerians on this by the time we form government in 2023, and we will do this with the aim to discourage them, from having to run out of the country in search for green, because there is nothing green there. What we need to do is to make our country greenish enough for us to stay, and then be happy that we are in our country contributing our quota to its development. Now, on the issue of the proposal by the central bank, it's no longer a proposal. I think it's already
a done deal.
A conclusion, a done deal. They only have now come to tell us, okay, it will be effective from so time. Yes, like the man who phoned in did say, it's not a bad idea. These are things that should happen. Okay, look at the reasons that the CBN advanced. One, they want to make kidnapping less attractive. I have always been asking myself, these large volumes of money that kidnappers demand from victims, what do they do with this money? They stay in the bush, we are aware. Where do these monies go to? Sometimes you hear them say, give us 2 billion, give us 500 million. And these are monies that are loaded into bags Because I'm sure they are not paid this money in dollars. They are paid in naira. Nobody would go to pay kidnappers in dollars. They are paid in naira. These large volumes of money, what do they do with these monies in the bush? And sometimes I'm tempted to think that maybe they have their agents that work freely on the streets who go back to take these monies and move them into the bank. Now, these are effective, these are measures that would aim at curtailing movement of such illicit funds. So if you see the reasons that the CBN has advanced, these are beautiful reasons. But again, come to think of it, we are close to election. And so Nigerians are suspicious. Why are they suspicious? They are suspicious because they are worried about the situations they found themselves in, you know, economy-wise. And so any move you make to do anything that would reposition the economy is suspect. And that's why this is coming at a time that most Nigerians will tell you they don't see any reason why this should happen and all of that. But these are normal economic measures.
Some Nigerians are also of the opinion that with all of these inventions of 1,000, even at a time we had 1,000 naira being introduced, that it makes it easier for politicians to be able to move ahead with large sums of money in just one step forward.
Why are you reducing it to politicians alone? Do businessmen not move around with money?
Because it also makes it possible for vote buying for politicians.
Except if you are saying that the timing of this, its closeness to the election, is to facilitate movement of funds, which is that we are not looking at it from the political angle. But even you and I, if we are traders, we also take advantage of it to be able to move money from one point to the other, to make our purchases, to do our businesses and all of that. So I think Nigerians do not need to express any fears in this direction. They are normal economic measures that whether we like it or not, no matter how we want to explain it, no matter the sentiments we want to attach to them, these are measures that makes a lot of meaning economic-wise. And so we shouldn't just be reducing things like this to, you know, the interpretations, the way we want to look at it and all of that. But again, let me say that the timing is the issue because we are close to election. And so Nigerians would want to say anything they want to say about it.
Yeah, in case you've just joined us, we're talking with Dr. Agbo Major. He's the National Publicity Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party. We're taking a look at the general elections 2023 and what is the stance of the New Nigeria People's Party led by Engineer Senator Musa Kwankwaso. In case you've just joined us, you have the opportunity to be part of the program. The number is 0907 177 1985. Dr. Agbo, let's take a look at the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, talking about former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Let's take a look at the former governor, senator of Lagos State, the Jagaban, talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And of course, the former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi. All of these people are matching head to head in terms of popularity and campaigns. Which of these candidates would you say perhaps is more popular than your candidate?
No, none of them. None.
You don't see any of these candidates becoming the president other than your candidate?
Well, election is competition. And every competition must produce a winner. The strategies adopted to win is known to the candidates. So why am I now saying that none of them is better than my candidate? Because I believe that our own approach is the approach that suits the mood of Nigerians now. They want to see their candidate, they want to see their president, they want to feel him, they want to discuss with him. You understand what I'm talking about? They want to enter, if possible, into individual social contracts with the president. These candidates you've mentioned, they are still going to go through the same route of gathering people at the stadium in each state capital to talk to them. But as you can see, we have come out with a different strategy. This strategy is designed to continue to put our presidential candidate, His Excellency Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, more closely to the people. He goes to them, he talks with them at small cell units, he discusses with them, As a matter of fact, as I'm talking to you now, he's preparing to go to, he will be visiting Ebonyi State next week. He is going to Zamfara this weekend. He will be visiting Ebonyi State. He's not going to stop at Abakaliki, that is the state capital. He's going to go deeper into the rural areas to meet with the people. This is what Nigerians have not seen before. The electorates haven't had this opportunity before. So, because of this strategy, we strongly believe that he is the man to beat in this election.
Hello, good evening.
President of the country.
Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Benue State.
You're welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening to the guest in the studio, Dr. Major. Good evening, sir.
Thank you, Fabian.
Thank you very much. Doctor has spoken so elaborate on the preparedness of NNPP ahead of the 2023 general election. I know that the party has indeed prepared, and the party is indeed a fashion with the most credible presidential candidate and other candidate. And let me by this time say that Nigeria as a country now needs a head that has empathy at heart. And let me say that His Excellency Senator Dr. Engineer Rabi Musa Kwankwaso has demonstrated this while serving as a governor of Kano State and the senator. He did a lot. And I believe that if given the chance to rule the country, then definitely Nigeria will change. All of the issues that we are facing us today will just, as a matter of fact, it will take a definite step and a very positive one. I call on all Nigerians to, at this point, let us throw away the issues of political, the issue of religion, and what have you. Let us concentrate on where if we elect, we take Nigeria to the greatest level. And that person is not any other person.
Thank you.
Senator Dr. Rabi Musa Kwankwaso.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Of course, we will be doing this going forward on the program. We want to say a very big thank you to you. But before we go, I know you've answered this question several times. And I know you have said this the umpteenth time. And I want you to say this in 60 seconds. Do you think a Peter Obi as the vice presidential candidate of the NNPP's candidate, Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, would have changed the narrative for your political party, or vice versa?
Well, it depends on how you're looking at it.
Yeah.
We had thought ordinarily that if he had joined us, the job would have been made easier. And we, through the olive branch, tried to, give him the opportunity to explore that advantage, but it never worked. Like I always say, maybe because certain persons were simply, decided that it wasn't going to work for obvious reasons. Maybe people who have continued to benefit from the status quo, as it were. It would have been easier. And if you go to the streets, that's what you hear from Nigerians.
Those were the aspirations of Nigerians.
Yes, that if
the two had come together,
it would have been easier.
Okay.
But the problem was simple. The side, P2B's side that came into the discussions, they came with a one-item agenda. And that was that their principal should be the president, while our principal that has more pedigree, that is more experienced, that whose antecedents you can point to very directly should be the vice. And we didn't see any reason for that. If you talk of support, P2B's support is just a momentary support.
Thank you.
So
We'll talk about that because of the program. We've lost so much time. We have to call it a wrap. Thank you. Dr. Agbo Major was our guest on the program tonight, National Publicity Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party. We want to say thank you so much. We look forward to having you and, of course, trailing some of your campaigns as well.
Well, we're there for you.
Thank you.
The job is for you media men to continue to project us in such a way that Nigerians would see the beauty of having His Excellency Rabi Musa Kwankwaso as the president of this country.
Thank you so much. I want to say a very big thank you to my production assistant, Abayomi Abomiro. We appreciate you so much. And of course, Philip and the entire of the aides and assistants who came with the National Publicity Secretary. My name is Abasi Odu Idion. You can follow me on your social media space at Abso Baba. You can also watch this program after now. Follow the Facebook page at The Nigeria Watch. Let's do this again tomorrow, God willing. Do have yourself a splendid night. You know I love you.